Hello, it's February 11th, and you may ask, why do we have the picture of the Pine Barrens in Deer Park in the middle of the summer up here instead of the winter? Well, that's because it's really warm and humid outside, and this today and yesterday were just absolutely miserable, disgusting days, and I want to explain to you why it's been like this with the rain and the warmth and the humidity and the fact that really time is running out to get winter back in the picture for us. So let's now go ahead without further ado and look at what's going on outside right now. The first thing we are looking at here is a radar loop, the current radar loop for our area. And you can see just when you thought we were done with the rain, well, we're not quite done with the rain. There's another batch of rain. Wouldn't even be surprised if there's some thunderstorms in here. I'm going to look at the lightning in a little bit here. But I want to show you the radar first. Yeah, this is some heavier rain here in the yellows. And just when, like I said, just when we thought we were done, there was a batch of heavy rain that moved through around 5 o'clock. Well, we are getting another batch of heavy rain moving through. So that is what's going on. I want to look at the rainfall total. This is the Doppler estimate for, I guess this would be for the storm. So you could see some areas around, wow, some areas around central New Jersey there, Northern Ocean County, have gotten 2 inches or more of rain since yesterday. I think this is, let's see what this says, from, yeah, this would be from 3:01 a.m. Saturday, February 10th. All right, so, yeah, this is Long Island, not quite as much. We're, pretty much in the greens, probably around an inch so far. But like I said, it's not over yet, and we're getting more rain before the night is done. So let's go ahead and look at the current conditions across our area as far as temperatures go. Actually, we'll go first to the rainfall reports. I want to do that first. All right, so these are current as of 8:11 p.m. So you could see Connecticut, 1.85. They've gotten almost 2 inches in parts of Connecticut, Fairfield County. Because I can't go over all of these. Looks like New Haven really got a lot, over 2 inches already, and more on the way. We may have the wettest February on record as far as the most rainfall ever in a February. Let's see, New London's also gotten a lot. So pretty much there's some variation, but most everybody's gotten more than an inch. Ooh, some of this Hudson County's gotten 2.39 inches. That's really interesting. Let's get to our area here, the city, and let's particularly Long Island. Thomaston close to 2 inches. Let's take a look at Suffolk County. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I skipped over the city there for those folks who are in the city. There you go, there are the numbers. There's like Staten Island got quite a bit too. Suffolk County, no 2-inch amounts yet, but I have a feeling before this is said and done there will be 2-inch amounts. I also want to look at the rainfall numbers for New Jersey where we went over, so in order for me to do that I have to go ahead and, for some reason New Jersey uses a different font for their rainfall totals. This is the Philadelphia office. One we were looking at before is, oh my god, look at some of these totals now. Delaware. This is crazy. Could be the most single rainfall for. Look at some of these. Atlantic City Airport, as I said, it's still raining there, so it's going to go higher. They already have 2.56 inches of rain. I'll put links to these public information statements in this video, which you can look at in the description below. Burlington, wow, Chemung, that's in the Pine Barrens, 3.07 inches. So there's going to be some flooding along some of the rivers in the Pine Barrens, probably some high water due to all this rainfall. Let's scroll further down. Old Bridge 2.02. I'm curious. They only have 2 observations out of Ocean. Waretown 2.50 and Lakewood 1.79. But that was taken at 11:50 a.m. You know that number is going to be higher. Take a look at some of these Pennsylvania numbers too as well. And these are some 24-hour rainfall numbers here that we can look at too as well. I mean, there have definitely been some records broken. I would be surprised if there weren't any. This is, like I said, this is really unusual in February to see this. Really unusual. All right, so now we'll go to the observations. All right, so we'll start with the closest observation point to Nassau County, which would be Farmingdale, 49 degrees, dew point 49. So it's quite humid out, as you can see. And the temperatures actually were a little higher earlier. I'm going to just go ahead and look at this here. You can see that they were a little higher earlier. 51, 50, all right. Let's go ahead and look at Islip, 50 degrees. Islip, 50 degrees. Uh, it's disgusting. Dew point 50. It's further out east. West Hampton, Gabreski Airport. Also 50 degrees, dew point 48. And a lot of fog, too. Note the low visibility there. Just a quarter of a mile visibility. So there's definitely some patchy dense fog in certain areas. Now let's head over to the city. LaGuardia Airport. 51 degrees. Surprised LaGuardia isn't warmer. Oh, but it's going to get warmer when I go to the next observation. A lot warmer. Miller Air Park, west of Toms River. 62 degrees. 62 degrees with a dew point of 61. That is sultry. That is turn on your air conditioner weather. I mean, this would be like what you'd see in the middle of the summer at night. This is crazy. We are in February here. Fortunately, here on Long Island, that's one of the things about Long Island. At least we have the ocean to moderate it a little bit. For the folks in Jersey, they don't have that at all. And what they have is just, oh my God, 62 degrees. Definitely a record breaker. It's insane, man. This is insane. Let's take a look at Belmar Farmingdale, Monmouth County. So a similar thing, 61 degrees, dew point 60. This is disgusting, folks. This is not normal. And this, you see the weather people on TV, and they don't seem alarmed at all about this. This is like terrible, and this has pretty much erased all the benefits we had of the cold weather we had earlier. This winter is turning out to be really lame. So let's go ahead and look at some of the larger radar views and some more observations, and then we're going to look at the sorry-ass forecast that I have to give you. All right, I want to show you a wider view of the radar here, just to show you, and I'll look at the satellite too for you if you want. But I wanted to show you if you want, I'm gonna show it to you because it's important to show you what's going on, and what's very highly abnormal in the atmosphere right now. We have a big western Atlantic ridge offshore, a summertime pattern. And we have a flow that literally just follow the rain, and literally we've had a flow coming right out of the Gulf of Mexico, right up the East Coast, all the way up the East Coast. Very highly abnormal for this time of the year. And so we get all this warmth and humidity coming off the Gulf of Mexico. And it's actually colder in parts of Texas than it is here right now, I think. But this is what's going on. And we have this flow coming right up, literally like a Pineapple Express or whatever you want to call it, just bringing the tropical air all the way up the East Coast. It's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff going on. This is not something that's normal at all whatsoever. So we'll look at the satellite next. Okay, here's a 12-hour satellite loop, and you can see exactly here on the satellite. Maybe it's almost easier to see the Gulf moisture just coming all the way up the East Coast, literally all the way up from here. If you look at my mouse, all the way up here. Really strange. You can see there's a big trough on the west. A big trough in the west. You can see, yeah, it's there. It's probably cooler in Texas than it is here right now. I bet you it is. It's much cooler, probably. So you have a huge trough here, but a huge ridge in the east. And so we are dealing with this just tropical weather. And is it ever going to get better? Is it ever going to change? Are we ever going to get winter back? Well, next, I'm going to look at the computer models, and I'm sorry to say, time is running out for winter here. Okay, so we are looking at the GFS model, the run from 18Z, February the 11th. And you can see that huge ridge right here. And first we're going to look at how it handles on this surface, and then we're going to look at other variations here, other things. But anyway, see that huge ridge there, and it finally backs down enough, and we finally get some relief. This high builds in, brings us seasonable cold, nothing really below normal, maybe slightly below normal. Later Monday into Tuesday, and Tuesday could be a really nice sunny clear day. Hoping it is, at least we can get that. And then, yeah, the ridge builds back. You'll see it building back, Western Atlantic ridge there, and another storm system coming through, and another big high coming through for later Friday. But most of that cold air is going into the Midwest. It's not going to be a direct shot at us, and the air itself isn't even that cold. So when we go ahead and we look at the temperatures, which we'll do next, you'll see that. So we could have a nice, clear, sunny day on Saturday, perhaps, maybe into Sunday. Then that moves offshore. That high builds back again, the Western Atlantic ridge. So you see that there's no blocking going on. And then here we go with another storm. Look at the track of this storm tracking well into the Great Lakes. This could be a very warm day for us. This is just, and then the high goes to the north. So, yeah, pretty much the gist of it is no major cool downs, no blocking, no sustained cold, and maybe not even many chances of snow. Maybe a little chance there, but it's so far off. We may not see any more snow the rest of this winter at the rate we're going. Here we are almost the end of February, and March is, you can get storms in March, you can get cold in March. Generally, once you head toward March, it's generally more difficult to do that. So that's what's going on with the surface. We're going to go ahead now look at the temperatures. I will just go ahead and we'll look at anomaly, all right, because that pretty much shows you, this really shows you where it's warm and where it's cool. So you can see here, we'll start it there. You can see that really, we are on fire on the East Coast. We are just on fire. All the cool, see, it's cooler in Texas. See, all the cool air is going way down in Texas. The jet stream, like I said, is not behaving like it's supposed to behave due to climate change. And that warmth moves offshore tomorrow. We get into some seasonable cool. See, not really. Tuesday's not really going to be that cool. Actually, it's still some above normal temperatures. You're seeing just a lot of above normal on the map. And here's another batch of cold air that's going to be coming down for later into Thursday, Friday, into the Midwest. Like I said, I'd love to be in the upper Midwest right now, but sadly, we're not going to see that. We might see a little piece of it later Friday, Saturday, maybe Saturday, Sunday. Maine looks like they'll see more of the cold air. Like I said, this shows up the air masses very well, which is why I like using this anomaly map. It shows you where it's warmer than normal, where it's cooler than normal. And then we go into next week, warmer again. Look at that. Look at that warm air just surging. This pattern just sucks. It's a trough. The trough wants to go into the west. The cold air wants to go into the west. And we here in the east, we just bake. We just bake. This is just an ongoing issue. So this is just awful. Just awful. Let's go ahead and look at we're going to go ahead now and look at another model. And then I'll get back to the GFS. Well, just for laughs, we're going to go ahead and put snowfall up here. Total snowfall. Let's see if we have any snowfall in our future. Not really. It's all nothing. This is unheard of. This is just unheard of. This is just screwed up. All right, let's go ahead and look at the euro. All right, go to the euro. Let's see what's going on here with the euro. So again, you see that big ridge off there. A little bit of seasonable cold air for Tuesday. And then a little more cold air, perhaps maybe highs in the 30s or low 30s on Saturday, but no real days where we stay below freezing. And then next week, not this week, but next week, the next following week after this, we could have some very warm air over us. And you can see that huge trough in the west, but not here. They're getting the cold air. Not here, not us, not us. So let's go ahead and look at what's going on in the upper levels and explain to you the sad situation we are in right now. For those people who like winter, of course. All right. All right, so we're looking, let me just back it up here. We are looking at the European model a little higher up in the atmosphere. So you can see what's going on here. What we need is blocking over here, but instead of a high or nudging into Greenland, we have a low. We have a western Atlantic ridge, we have a trough in the west. And so as you see what goes on here, nothing really changes except that the trough in the west gets deeper. And as long as we have these fast-moving pattern, when there's not going to be any blocking, there's not going to be any sustained cold, and there may not even be another snowstorm. All right, so and as much as I don't like snow, it's a part of winter, and to not have snow is really very disturbing. And you can see that this just continues the pattern, and it gets warmer. It gets warmer toward the end of February. It's because the ridge here is in the wrong place. The ridge needs to move further west, but instead further east, but instead it's actually moving, this ridge is actually moving further west, which is pushing the trough back further west, and we can't get into any of this cold air. Let's look at this on the GFS. See the same freaking sad situation that we got going on here. So, go back it up to here. Same sad situation. So, ridge over us. Can't get any sustained cold. Can't really get any blocking going on. It tries to do something next weekend, but then it pulls out, and the ridge just builds back, and it seems like the trough just wants to go into the west. So, yeah, this is what's going on. A very highly abnormal pattern, a very screwed up pattern. And I guess I'll have some final thoughts, and then it'll be the end of this video. So many of you are asking, John, why do you want it to be so cold in the winter? Because winter's supposed to be cold. Look at this picture, all right? This is the picture of global warming, folks. This is the picture of climate change, all right? We are seeing southern pine beetles in this area. This is not the South. Why do we have southern pine beetles? I'm trying to talk some sense into some of you dumb people that don't believe in global warming. And I'm sorry if I've got to yell in a little bit here, but I'm tired of the ignorance, particularly by our president and so many others, not just in his party, but in the Democratic Party too, about global warming and this serious, serious climate emergency we are in. All right? So, these are dead pitch pines here, or dying pitch pines here, taken in Connecticut. This was back in 2013. All right? This is when the beetles started getting out of hand. When we didn't have cold winters. The winters have been getting warmer and warmer and warmer. And when you don't have the kind of cold that we had, the way it was in late December and early January, there's supposed to be at least 3 periods of that kind of cold weather in the winter. We only got 1 brief period. It's not enough to kill these beetles off. These beetles are overwintering over here because the winters are milder. How stupid do you have to be to figure this shit out? All right? The winters are warmer than they're supposed to be. That's why we have southern pine beetles. That's why you have all these species that we never used to have over here. The climate is changing, and it's because of us. All right? It is because of us. And this country and so many other countries don't freaking get it. All right? I'm telling you, my relative, he went to the Netherlands, you know, the Dutch area, all right? And he was in Europe. He was in Germany and a lot of places. Let me tell you something. They're doing it right there, all right? They're doing it right. Most people take public transportation. They take bikes. They don't drive cars. And gas costs $5 a gallon. It should cost $5 a gallon here, too. Gas is too cheap, all right? We have a president who wants to drill for more oil. All right, I am a conservative. But being a conservative should also mean conserving our environment. We've got to stop killing the planet, folks. All right, we are killing the planet due to this climate emergency we are in. And you know something? The people in Europe got it right. Even China, I've heard that they want to actually ban the sale of fossil fuel cars by 2020. That's right, by 2020, all cars in China must be at least a hybrid, if not fully electric. Why aren't we doing the same thing here? We're not doing it here because we have a bunch of people in the oil and gas industry that are running our government and killing our planet. All right? And this is a serious emergency, and I'm upset because people aren't taking it seriously. No one in the weather, I watch the weather forecast, no one takes it seriously. No one on the road takes it seriously. You don't know how many times I see these huge SUVs driving all over the place. You know, gas mileage today is worse than it was when I was growing up. Because who needs a freaking huge SUV or a huge pickup truck? You don't need it unless you live somewhere on a dirt road. And most of these people, they drive them because they look cool. Meanwhile, this is the end result. This is the end result. Our environment is dying. All right? And I'm sorry to be so dramatic here, but you people out there need to understand what is going on and the serious implications that it has, you know, not only for the pines, but for us as well, because this climate change is killing off the oceans too. All right? And eventually we will kill ourselves because we will kill off our food supply. All right? So I'm trying to talk some sense into some of you out there who don't believe in climate change. I have a few friends who don't believe in it, and my God, I'm 41 years old. I've seen how the winters have become warmer. I've seen how the weather patterns have become more unstable with more storms, more unstable patterns, and, you know, winter where you get all your snowfall in maybe one storm. And we got the majority of our snowfall in one storm there, and that was it, you know? Majority of our cold within a period of a couple of weeks. This is not the way it's supposed to work. What do we do to combat climate change? We must phase out fossil fuel completely. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen with our current administration, and it's not going to happen with the Democrats either. We need another political party, maybe the Green Party. all right, to run our government, because right now we have a serious problem. We need to phase out all fossil fuel use in all personal vehicles. At least we need to make at least go toward hybrid and then all vehicles. And I know I have a passion for buses too, all right? And I think also we need to also think about how we change our public transportation systems to be more energy efficient. And hybrid buses or all electric buses, from what I've seen, are crappy. All right, there's no reason for them to be crappy, but they are crappy. All right, and I think what we need to do is go back to when we used to use trolleys, folks. Trolleys, remember them? They had a wire up there. You could use a trolley, and you can they even have trolley buses that can actually go off the wire, and they have rechargeable batteries. We got to work on things like this. All right, and when it comes to our energy generation, we've got to stop burning fossil fuels for that. We've got to start shifting toward wind, solar. There's plenty of energy from the sun. We need to harness that. And yeah, I do support nuclear power as well. And it's a shame that we are seeing nuclear power plants close. Oyster Creek in Ocean County is going offline very soon. Nuclear power is way cleaner than any other of these fossil fuel powers. But the fossil fuel industry is so ingrained in this country, it is killing us. And the whole world laughs at us and thinks of us as pigs, because we are pigs the way we treat the environment. All right? We are consumed way too much. Our ecological footprint is way too big. Why do you need a car with a fucking V12 in it? There's no need for that. No need for that. I'm sorry, but there's no need for it. All right? Anyway, I'm sorry for this little rant here at the end of the video, but I'm trying to remind you all the serious situation, what's going on, and what it looks like. What you see, these beautiful pines dying because the climate is changing. All right? Southern pine beetles have never been on Long Island in any history. They are here because we are changing the climate, and when we start putting more carbon dioxide in the air, the Arctic starts melting. That releases more methane, and we could really have a serious problem on our hands. So it's reached to the point where I think we need to actually actively, and I've talked about this before, mitigate climate change. We need to figure out a way to spray shiny, fine particles into the stratosphere to start reflecting the sunlight and cool this planet down. Because if we don't, we will all be dead, just like these pines.